Melmetal is one of my favorite and most played Pokemon in Genetic Apex. I've been playing this fun little deck that I want to showcase, which I call Heavy Mewtwo. As always guys, I put out new Pokemon Pocket content every single day, so if you do enjoy this video, please do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for the next one. And also, feel free to share the videos with your friends and drop a comment below if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on what I should build a deck around next. Now in this deck, we are running 2 Meltans, 2 Melmetals, 2 Mews, and 2 Druddigons. For supporters, we are running 1 Sabrina, 1 Budding Expeditioner for the Mew. We're running 1 Blue, 2 Leaves, and 2 Professor Oaks. For items, we are running the 2 Potions, the 1 X Speed, and the 2 Pokeballs. I highly recommend keeping the 2 Potions, or at least having 2 Blues and 1 Potion. And the reason for that is, of course, Melmetal. The reason for that is his ability Hard Coat, which reduces all damage taken from attacks by 20. This does not affect things like Greninja's Water Shuriken, and it also doesn't reduce the damage done by poison, but it still works for basic and regular attacks. So if something's hitting you for 40 damage, a potion can completely reverse the damage done on the following turn. Now, Melmetal himself is a pretty good card. He has 130 HP and Heavy Impact does 120 damage. Heavy Impact is quite expensive to set up, requiring 3 Steel Energies and 1 Colorless. However, that is mitigated by his pre-evolution Meltan, provided your opponent isn't putting on too much pressure. So Meltan's attack is called a Mass. It does no damage, but when you use this, it pulls an extra energy from the energy zone. That means if you get turn 2 with Meltan, which means you're getting energies first, you can have 2 energies set up on Meltan before your opponent can even put 1 down on theirs. If your opponent is running a non-threatening mon, maybe it's a Celebi deck and they've started with a Snivy on field, which is 2 energies, that means you get a few free turns to set your Meltan up before they can even do anything. If you've also managed to draw your Melmetal, that means that Melmetal can be down very quickly, doing massive damage to the opponent, because 120 is a lot, and with the Giovanni is capable of one-shotting quite a few Pokemon. But to be fair, I'm not running Giovanni in this deck, but it is a card I have run on my Melmetal decks in the past. Now, Druddigon is in this deck because in the event you don't get turn 2, or you're versing a deck which is a bit more aggro up front, Druddigon is a much better choice to be on field, taking the early hits and dealing damage with rough skin. Your Meltan will not last very long with such a low HP pool, so Druddigon is in this deck to be that tank. Now, Mew can serve that role, especially because we run Budding Expeditioner, but the thing I really like about Mew is genome hacking gives you a lot of play against some of the scarier meta high energy mons like Charizard, like Mewtwo, and even to a degree Celebi. So this game is against Pikachu EX, as you can tell. This is a pretty fun game. It was not that straightforward. I will say Melmetal is very, very good against Pikachu due to the HP pool. We can one-shot that typically. Blue obviously can prevent that, which is quite an interesting addition with Mythical Island, but in general, pretty good for us. One of the scary things though about running the deck we're running at the moment with Mew is Mew actually can't do anything to Pikachu, because genome hacking, yes, it will work, but we don't have any electric Pokemon, and the actual fine print of Circle's Circuit requires you have electric Pokemon on the bench to actually do damage. So you can't genome hacking Pikachu. But because we got turn 2 again, which is pretty nice for us, we actually have the advantage here, so we can basically start getting our mass going. But I will have to retreat out pretty quickly because Pikachu is going to start killing me next turn. So I'm going to get my 3rd energy into Meltan here. I'm going to retreat into Druddigon because that is definitely the best play. Again, having turn 2 here was pretty nice. It might have been a different story if we had turn 1. It's a lot harder to get in the mass off when you're turn 1 because that means they can attack first. But we're in a pretty good spot. We are facing a Pikachu and the bench only has 2 Pokemon, so I think the best play here is actually just to build our Melmetal straight on the field and pop a blue. That means any damage done by this Pikachu, even if they get a 3rd mon on the bench, this Pikachu is going to be doing, 60 damage to us. So that is chump change here. So we're in a pretty good spot here. If they don't add a 3rd Pokemon, they're doing even less. So that is pretty good for us. They did bring down the Magneton and the Raichu, which means they do have some Lieutenant Surge play, but then I saw it was only the Mythical Island Raichu, which only does 60 damage with Giga Shock plus hits your bench, which is definitely less scary. If that was the Genetic Apex Raichu, I would have been far more scared and probably worried we might lose, but the Mythical Island Raichu is far less scary. So yeah, that only did 30 damage. That tickled us. And we also have a potion, so we can reverse most of that, which is kind of crazy, which is why I think potion and blue is really good. And now we're in the position to pretty much take the Pikachu out, but they did use their own blue, as you saw, which means we will only do 110 damage. So I'm going to get the damage into Pikachu anyway, but obviously next turn, our opponent is very likely going to retreat into Raichu. And this is why I say I wasn't very scared, because if this was the genetic Apex Raichu, which does 140 damage, he actually would have come on and one-shot my Melmetal, and I probably would have lost this game just because my Mew isn't ready to go. My Mew actually can't do anything against Pikachu, which is what I was saying about this being a pretty bad matchup with Mew and Melmetal versus Pikachu if you don't play it properly. So this is probably more fortunate for me, but yeah, if this was a genetic Apex Raichu, we would have probably lost this game. I'm not going to lie about it, like we definitely could have lost this game if this Raichu was a different card. In the end, it ends up being not that Raichu, so we get a free kill on Raichu here. We have a Sabrina for next turn. If our opponent does, in fact, put something else on the field, we can just Sabrina Pika back on. But I mean, at this point, we're pretty chill. But the Pika EX does come down for my opponent, which was a little bit like, okay, maybe they do have a Geo. That last card was a Geo dude. A Geo dude. They could have easily put this Pika on the bench with swapped in Magneton or Magnemite, sacked one of those two because they only have 1 point. Pika comes in, Giovanni, and you know the game is back on their terms. But they played the turn. Maybe they just wanted to show off their crown rare, but we took out the Pika, and that's another quick game. So we're churning through the games very quickly. Melmetal is just a pretty sick card, honestly. So this game was a pretty fun game. I started recording this, I think, on like turn 2 or turn 3. Just because I completely forgot to press record. It was a bit of a mistake, but we're versing a Gengar EX deck, which was a pretty interesting matchup. I've obviously got the difficulty here of having a Jinx on field, and Jinx is very, very scary for Melmetal because Melmetal has a 4 energy cost. So that straight away is like 110 damage. I guess drop that by 20. So it still does 90 damage, which is a 2-turner for Melmetal, which is pretty spooky. And for Mew, that's also a lot of damage. Like I think it does about 90 damage to Mew as well. So Mew and Melmetal are very high energy mons. So Jinx is a little bit scary. But straight away, this game is probably going to become a bit of a game of attrition. I'm basically looking at this game, but I'm just going to set up all of my Pokemon to the max. I'm going to set up everything I have and just see if we can basically bait them onto the field first, or them to make the first move, because that's the only way I can actually see me winning this game. I've got my 2 Druddigons, so I'm kind of covered with Sabrina. I'm not putting any energies into Druddigon, so this is going to be kind of one of those games where it's a little bit of a like, holy crap, what do we do? And we're just going to play it out and see how we can get the W. But I'm going to start building my Mew because I don't have a Melmetal in sight. So Mew straight away is the best option, because if they do get a Gengar down, Mew can do work with genome hacking, and we have the Budding Expedition hopefully coming up soon. If not, we have an X-Speed and a Leaf. So we can hopefully get this going pretty well. So Gengar has gone down already and has 2 energies. So I'm thinking if they make the first move here, that's actually pretty good for me. I wasn't sure if they would go aggressive or not, but I'm obviously going to start putting my energies into Meltan as well at some point, because at this point, Mew's already got 2, only needs 1 more. So I'm definitely able to start spreading the energies around here. So I've just blued this turn as a precaution, because if Gengar does come on and hits me for 100, that means that it's only 90, and Gengar takes chip damage. So this opponent may have gone aggressive here, but the blue might dissuade them. So either way, I either live this turn, which is good, or I live this turn and he takes 20 damage. So it's a win-win. So on my opponent's turn, he starts building Jinx, which is a little bit spooky. But again, we are covered with Sabrina. We can't be Sabrinaed out. If we get Sabrinaed, the other Druddigon comes in. But at this point, I'm able to start setting up my Meltan. So this is becoming a little bit of a stalemate. I'm setting my mons up. He's setting his mons up. Like who's going to make the first move? Because whoever makes the first move in this game will probably lose. That's kind of the way I'm feeling playing this right now. So my opponent is just starting to set up their second Gengar, so they've got an energy into the other Ghastly. And I really can't do anything because, like I said, if I had tried to put anything on field to do anything to Jinx, Gengar will come in. If he gets the advantage against me in terms of damage, I'm screwed. Especially because whoever's EX falls first is a massive advantage. So I'm just going to keep building my Meltan, and I do go for a Sabrina here. Just to see what they put in. If they did put Gengar in, I would switch my Mew in and get some damage down on Gengar straight away. If they don't put Gengar down, then I'm basically going to keep building and playing this as passive as possible. So Routes comes in, they Evo to Curlier, which means Gardevoir is probably coming, and they're now going to leave Curlier out and put something else back on field, and that of course is Jinx. Jinx is kind of the check for me. I can't really do much here because of Jinx. It's a little bit spooky. And yes, it can't one-shot any of my mons, but, you know, it's still a massive chunk of damage that I can't afford to have. And now we do draw into our Melmetal, which is like really good for us. So we have this guy with 3 energies. Mew is fully ready to go. So we are in a pretty good position here, and we're just gonna keep the standoff going. Like there's no reason to get aggressive. We have to wait for them to come to us. So my opponent ends their turn by feeding Gengar his 3rd energy, and they use Side Shadow with their now brand new Gardevoir, which goes into Jinx, which is a little bit of a scary prospect for me. I mean, I'm getting fully set up, but so are they. So I did leave here because I was like, I think I need to kill this Jinx. And I've kind of thought about this. Jinx is the thing which is my lose con, just from a damage perspective. I don't mind doing this because what's going to happen here is Gengar's going to hit me and I'm going to hit Gengar back. And if Gengar wants to kill me on the following turn, Mew's going to come in and win the game for me. So that one point here I felt was very important. Getting aggressive here for a couple of reasons. And I think that by doing this, this is the moment which I think, you know, the game really rests on this. Now, funnily enough, he went for the Sabrina and brought my Druddigon on, which was actually like really, really good for me. I know I just said I had the point advantage, but now what I actually have as well is the damage advantage. So I can now switch in either my Mew or my Melmetal, which puts him in a bit of a weird spot because the following turn, if he brings his other Gengar in, then I switch my Mew out for my Melmetal. Then I hit the other Gengar and suddenly he's got 2 Pokemon with no HP. It's kind of a weird spot for him. So let's see how this plays out. So straight away, I get my 2nd Mew down now that they've freed up my bench spot, which, you know, thank you, sir. We get the genome hacking into Gengar. Yes, I can't use any supporters while Gengar's on field, but if Gengar doesn't stay on field, then I'm fine. If the 2nd Gengar comes in, then obviously, you know, that's a very real possibility here. Mew could also come on here because they do have Gardevoir with Side Shadow, so Gardevoir can get that Mew to 3 straight away. But I don't know why they would put Mew on here because that would be very stupid because all they could do is genome hacking my Mew and hit me with 20 damage. So, oh, wow, they brought on Mew, which weird move. Like genuinely very weird move. I don't know why they would do this, but hey, they've done this. So they're going to Side Shot me and get 20 damage down. Okay, very cool. Big whoop. The only thing I can think of is maybe, I mean, they have no cards in their hand, firstly. If they had cards in their hand, I was like, oh, maybe they've got a Giovanni. Maybe they think they're going to draw a Giovanni. But I'm going to put my Melmetal on because just in case they do draw into Geo, like they can get a kill on me next turn with the Gengar. We're going to get energy into our 2nd Mew. We have 2 fully set up Mews basically at this point. We now have a Mew on 10 HP and a Gengar on 50 HP. We are in the box seat here. So they switch out, they bring their Gengar back on. Now I have pretty much got this game in the books. Like you can probably work out, I can effectively sacrifice my Melmetal here, get the 120 into Gengar. And at that point, I've pretty much won the game. I think this is checkmate. I think they made a horrible mistake playing this the way they did, but I think I've definitely played this better. Gengar is on 50, and at this point, they have no moves left to make. If Guardy comes in, that doesn't help them. I kill that in 2 turns. It has no energies. If Mew comes in, I kill it. If the other Gengar comes in, I kill it. So this was checkmate. I win the game. They rage quit, and it was a very good win. What's up, guys? It's me, Mochi. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can eat.